Okay, time to talk about metrics, analytics, Search Console and money. And for those of you who like to read, I've typed everything up in a nice article, link in the description. So finally, I have some interesting data to share with you. And this is month 5 gone. And this is usually where you can expect to see the first movement on a new site. In the past month, I've added 60 articles to the website, and I managed to get them all indexed, even though this site seems to be one of those who didn't really want to. And I'll tell you in a second how I did that. So if you're a beginner and you just started a blog, this is usually a very tough period because you can see some movement, but you have been working on your site for almost half a year without any real feedback from users or from Google if what you're doing is any good. So I've done this before and I'm pretty confident that this looks good, and adding now 62 articles, or 63 because I'm recording this after June 1st, where I added one more article. So there's 63 articles indexed on the site now. And I'm confident that most of them will rank and draw in some traffic. But if you have been typing away for the last half year, writing 63 articles without any feedback, this can feel very tiring. And I really feel that the metrics for this website is fairly usual actually. At this time there's some movement, but not too much. So if we look at analytics first, there's a big uptick in the start. That's probably just me visiting the site while I was doing some updating and removing a lot of spam. Some of the visits can maybe be bots in correlation with the spam, I don't know. Here at the end of the month, it looks more normal. It seems to be one visitor a day, and this is actually where the blue line lets go of the baseline, and there is actually more than 0 visitors to the website every day, and this looks good. So if we take the monthly view, this is actually a pretty nice graph for a young website. In Search Console, we can see that the website is getting some exposure, not too much and not too many clicks, but the exposure is looking like it's going to take off now. And if we look at the coverage tab, we can see there's a lot of pages indexed here. This is the spam that had gotten indexed. This is all removed now, but they still show up as indexed here in the Google Search Console, and you can actually find the URLs in the search results still. They all redirect now just to the front page. And this is visible in the excluded tab, where you can see this is actually increasing the 404 errors. And that's, in this case, a good sign. And if we scroll down and see the URLs that are actually in the sitemap, we can see that it says 64. That is probably just the front page. And then there's 63 articles I have on there now. And the scary hole here in the middle is where I was working on removing the spam, and it looks like all the articles were indexed on the same day. They weren't. I was looking every day basically after publishing the articles, and I was working to get them indexed, and within a week, maybe 2 weeks, everything was indexed. So I think the reason why the graph looks like this is because Search Console have maybe just updated the sitemap on that date, finding that the URLs that were indexed then also were in the sitemap. But well, it doesn't really matter. The URLs are in the index now, and that is what counts. If you have a site that gets crawled on a regular basis and your URLs typically get indexed within a couple of days, And if you put them into the manual indexing system and you can get an article indexed in that way, you're lucky, and I applaud you, and I'm happy for you. I have sites that does this as well, but these sites seem to be not in that category. And just putting the articles on the site and putting them through the manual indexing tool wasn't getting them indexed. So I had to do something different for this site. And as I've shown you here on the channel before, I have a scientific proof that this method will get a non-indexing site indexed. And you can go and watch that video afterwards if you want to know the more scientific reasoning and proof behind this method. So what I did was I created a sort of like an hand-created sitemap. What that is just a page I create in WordPress, and there's nothing else on that page beside the exact keywords I want the article to rank for. So I'd put in the specific keyword, and then I make that keyword a link to that article. And I did that for the whole 60 articles. And after that, I forced index this handcrafted sitemap. What this does is that it creates at least one internal link to all the articles. And it forces Google to at least be aware of these links. That managed to get about a third of the articles indexed. And after that, I was putting them into the rest of them into the manual indexing tool. And that managed to get maybe 1/4, not a complete third of the articles indexed. And then I was left with little more than a third of the articles and URLs that wasn't getting picked up by the index. And I used this force indexing method. I use a tool called Index Me Now, and I have an affiliate link in the description below. That means if you click the link and decide to sign up and pay for the service, I get paid a small commission without any extra cost to you. This has done wonders for this site. Because, as I said, I have sites that get picked up by the bots as they should, but this site, at least here in the beginning, is not one of those. So I have to do something different, and both, of course, for the purpose of this case study, I want the URLs to be indexed sort of almost at the same time. You can go back and look at the last month's video or the one before for an explanation why that is important to me this time. But also for the future of this site. The testing I've done is on an other niche site I have, and it was just sitting there without getting indexed for 12, 13 months before I found this indexing tool and put the articles through there. And now that site is 100% indexed as this site is, but it took a complete year working on that site, and I actually thought I was going to give up on that because nothing happened. I'm not a big fan of using the rank math API because Google has stated that they don't like that, and we know from experience when Google say they don't like something, even though it's completely apparent that it works, when Google says they don't like that, they will at some point take that advantage away from you, and your site will drop back to where it was actually supposed to be, and that boost is completely gone. The future of this case study is that in this month I'm not going to publish too much more content, but I will be working on monetization. And hopefully in the next case study video I will be able to share with you that this site has earned its first dollar. So stay tuned for how I put ads on this site. I will be using the Ezoic Access Now program. I am in Ezoic with all my other sites, but I haven't signed up with a fresh domain and a fresh website through this Access Now program, and I'll be doing that for the first time, documenting the process so you can see what that is like. I will also be signing up for affiliate programs. I'm less familiar with that, so that is also going to be a learning for me, and I will report the complete process. Hopefully when I get back in a month, I can tell you that we have earned the first money within half a year of starting a new website. Till next time, take care.